What's up guys, today I'll be breaking down Wang Yiheng's 4.69 world record 3x3 average, and this will be the first correct reconstruction video of all these solves because the reconstruction that Stewy has posted previously has incorrect reconstructions on 1 and 5. He did that intentionally just to troll people that would take his reconstructions and post them without crediting him, and that person that he was mostly doing this for was xcross, and xcross has uploaded a video with incorrect reconstructions. But of course, it doesn't matter to him because xcross literally does not care about the reconstructions being correct. He just cares about getting views and getting money. Anyways, off to the solves. So for the first solve, which was a 4.35, it was a full step solve that he started on yellow cross, and he was able to make an X cross. So starting off, he did a Y move, and then U, like that, D to move this cross edge over, and then R to insert this green cross edge, and then U prime, F prime to insert the orange cross edge. As you can see, this solves this block here, and then D, L to insert the red cross edge, and then before doing the D move, he does a U first. So he does a U and then D. And that just sets up this pair so he can insert with R, U from R prime. And then the next pair he does is U2 prime, and then solve the next pair. So L, U, L2 prime, U2, L. And notice how he does U2 prime instead of U2, because if he does a U2, he'll have to do a U2 and then another U with his right hand, which would be an overwork like that. Instead, he does this. That way he can, split the workload between both hands. And next he does a Y prime into pairing this pair up with L prime U2L and then inserting, which is a good idea because most cubers, even top ones, they would just rotate this way and do the solution. But this solution is actually a bit slower than rotating this way and doing this solution because, the way how cubes work, inserting to back slots generally is slower. And if you do it into a front slot, it'll be faster. Even if it's a righty owl compared to a lefty owl, front slots are still faster in most cases, especially 2-gen. Like, just pairing it up like that into the front slot is faster than pairing it up into the back, as you can see. Anyways, next he does a U prime, and then OLL, so wide R prime, R2, U, R prime, U, R, U2 prime, R prime, U, M prime. So that's just the soon, and then U, M prime. So M, soon, U, M prime. But instead of doing M, he does a wide R prime, R to start off, and then he does the soon. Anyways, he has a Y perm, so he does the standard Y perm algorithm, and that solves the cube. So, yeah. Next solve, what he has is a 3.9 3x3 single, and this one he gets an OL skip, or more accurately he does an OLS. So he does a double sledgehammer to solve the pair, but some people will argue that that's the standard solution to solve it for some people, and yeah, that's true because sometimes people just do that solution anyway. Anyways, for this scramble he does white cross instead of yellow, so he does U to move this orange cross over, so when he does an R prime it will set up. And he does an F, and then he does a D2 to move these two cross edges to the back, and then R prime U to move this red cross over here, and then insert with wide R, U prime, wide R prime, and then a UD at the same time to solve the cross. And then he inserts the first pair with R prime from R, and then cancels into pairing this left pair like that, and then insert to the front left slot. And then next he has this pair, so U2 prime, L, U, L prime to solve that. And the next, this is pretty obvious that if you do a double sledge, you'll get an OL skip because of this block here. So he does double sledge, and then he gets an OL skip. So the solution to this, most people do that, which would give you this sexy sledge OL case. But if you just do a double sledge, you get EO, and in this case, you get to skip OL. So yeah, this is a solution I use for this angle anyway. So that, and then he does a U, AB perm, and then rotate up, U prime. So here, generally, instead of doing that, I would just do a rotation like this and just do that because it's faster. If you time both of them, you'll see what I mean. Doing this is a little bit slower than just doing that, if you get what I mean. But it still depends on the person. So yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. So for the next solve, which is a 4.41, what he did was, again, white cross. So x2, y, and then ud. We're seeing a lot of uds in his solving. Anyways, he does ud, which solves this cross edge, and he does an r2 to move this cross edge into the back, and he does a b prime to insert the orange cross edge, and then r prime to move this cross edge down along with this f2l pair, and then he does a u prime, inserts the pair before inserting the cross edge, which he could have done with r prime fr, but instead he does u2 wide r u prime wide r prime, and the benefit of that is it gives a free pair, as you can see. So he has a lot of foresight in his solving. While not being as advanced as Timon, he still has, you know, amazing foresight. So next, he just inserts this pair after rotation. And then here, he pairs up this pair with r prime r prime and inserts into the back left slot, like so. And then here, he could have gotten his OLL orientation if he does u2 prime sexy move and then insert, which would give him assume. Okay, that's not a good OLL, but he generally would do that, which would give him an A perm, which is really good. But he didn't do that, which is okay because, you know, it doesn't matter, because just doing this and then into a rotation would give him this OLL, which is actually, you know, comparable to soon. Maybe slightly worse, but doesn't matter. And then u2, 6 move OLL, and then that gives him this u perm into u2 AUF. I mean, you could have just done that, but whatever. He hasn't learned that yet, and, you know, I wouldn't expect him to be able to do it that quickly because he has small hands. Next, 5.31 full step again, so he does an x2 into white cross again, which, you know, is quite surprising considering he seems to only do white and yellow, and he seems to have a preference towards white, but he still has the world record average despite being 9 years old. Anyways, he does an x2 into r b prime to insert these two cross edges, and then u d to that, like that, to move this cross edge over, then f prime to insert the red one, r u r2 prime to insert this edge along with this corner. So just to show you what he did was he moved this cross edge over here, I mean f12 edge over here, so that when he does do a u r2 prime, it would end up right in this layer here. So when he inserts with a D, it will give him an X cross. But he doesn't do a D. Instead, he does a U prime D to set up his first pair, which will be this pair. So he rotates and does L prime U prime L to pair it up, and then inserts with L prime U L. And next, that gives him this pair, which he takes it out and then inserts into the back right slot. And then here, he cancels into the next pair by pairing it up like that. U R prime, which is the best way to do it. And now that gives him this OLL, so fortunately he locks up a little bit, or rather he has misrecognition, so he does R, U, U prime, R prime, U prime, and then do the OLL. And by the way, for this OLL, I like to do it from the front. So I like to do this, R prime, F prime, Y R, U prime, Y prime, F2R, because it's faster. Because it's, you know, faster than doing it from the back slot angle, and if you do that from the back slot, you generally need to regrip, and if you don't regrip, then it's going to be slow. So that's why I'd like to do it from the front, and yeah, most people like to do it from the front as well. Just saying. Anyways, he does that, and then A perm. So he does a U2 X prime into this A perm, which is a cool trick because instead of doing a U A perm and then U, all he has to do is a U2 into this A perm, which could be faster. So yeah, good for him for choosing the better solution to do. I wouldn't have seen that normally because I just used the standard A perm most of the time. Now for the last solve. So this is full step, but it's a 6.16 full step. So he does X and then U like so. And then this time he does yellow cross, so wide L to insert the orange cross edge, U and then D. Once again, a lot of UDs. And he does an L2 to insert this green cross edge, and then U prime, R to insert this cross edge, and then U prime U which is a hesitation, and then he takes out R, U2, R prime, like that. So he inserts this pseudo pair, like that, and then D. And inserting the pseudo pair allowed him to, well, get this case, which isn't that good. What I would have done is, I would have canceled into pairing this up and then inserting. But anyways, what he did next was L prime UL to pair up this pair. And then instead of inserting normally, he was pretty smart and he decided to do U2 prime L prime U2L, which paired up this pair. Big brain. I wouldn't have seen that normally. So he inserts it like that into the back right slot. And then he has this last pair, which he left for the end, which generally I wouldn't do. Like, if both pieces are in the bottom layer, wouldn't leave it to the end because I can take them out earlier. But since this case is not bad, it doesn't matter. So he does L prime U, L, 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 U, L prime U prime L, U prime L prime UL. So you can see there's a slight lock up there. Then he does the OL into A perm. So this time he does this A perm for AUF purposes. And then he does a U after rotating. So yeah. That is how he got the world record average. Hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah. Let me just solve this cube real quick. And put it back. I'll have to get a new core for the GAN 12 and the GAN 11 because they have weak cores and they have broken. Just to show you what I mean. I hope the GAN 13 isn't like this because when I do get the GAN 13, if the core ends up breaking, like, I'll get really disappointed. So, as you can see, the corner, the edge of that, like, bro, it's coming off. It's literally coming off. Okay, to give you a better view, might as well just disassemble. As you can see, it's cracked and it's literally coming off. I'll have to push it back in for it to feel natural. And if I push it back in, well, it requires force and it will break it even more. So that's why I need to get a new core. And I hope GAN improves quality control. So yeah, fellow GAN users such as Yiheng Wang, you better hope that GAN fixes their issues. Thanks for watching.